Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Geres, and I am so glad that you are here. Please remember to listen right until the very end, because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click like and subscribe down below, because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson number 258. Let me remember that my goal is God. This is our 8th lesson under the section, What is Sin? We are asked to read that section before we read the day's lesson. So let's do that now. What is sin? Sin is insanity. It is the means by which the mind is driven mad and seeks to let illusions take the place of truth. And being mad, it sees illusions where the truth should be and where it really is. Sin gave the body's eyes, for what is there the sinless would behold? What need have they of sights or sounds or touch? What would they hear or reach to grasp? What would they sense at all? To sense is not to know, and truth can be but filled with knowledge and with nothing else. The body is the instrument the mind made in its efforts to deceive itself. Its purpose is to strive, yet can the goal of striving change, and now the body serves a different aim for striving. What it seeks for now is chosen by the aim the mind has taken as replacement for the goal of self-deception. Truth can be its aim as well as lies. The senses then seek instead for witnesses to what is true. Sin is the home of all illusions, which but stand for things imagined, issuing from thoughts that are untrue. They are the proof that what has no reality is real. Sin proves God's Son is evil. Timelessness must have an end. Eternal life must die. And God himself has lost the Son he loves with but corruption to complete himself. His will forever overcome by death, love slain by hate, and peace to be no more. A madman's dreams are frightening, and sin appears indeed to terrify. And yet what sin perceives is but a childish game. The Son of God may play he has become a body, prey to evil and to guilt, with but a little life that ends in death. But all the while his Father shines on him and loves him with an everlasting love which his pretenses cannot change at all. How long, O Son of God, will you maintain the game of sin? Shall we not put away these sharp-edged children's toys? How soon will you be ready to come home? Perhaps today? There is no sin. Creation is unchanged. Would you still hold return to heaven back? How long, O Holy Son of God? How long? Let's talk about it. What's holding you back from accepting the truth of who you are as God's beautiful, perfect, unblemished, beautiful child of God? Do you still have feelings of guilt or shame? Do you still have resentments that you're holding towards yourself or others? This work is so important, my friends. If you need help with it, please reach out. I would love to help you. You can find me at www.arlenegeres.com. We always want to remember that God is shining his love on you and his love on me. Not one of us is left out. He loves us with an everlasting love, which the lies of the ego cannot change at all. Let's read today's lesson. Let me remember that my goal is God. All that is needful is to train our minds to overlook all senseless aims and to remember that our goal is God. His memory is hidden in our minds, obscured but by our pointless little goals, which offer nothing and do not exist. Shall we continue to allow God's grace to shine in unawareness while the toys and trinkets of the world are sought instead? God is our only goal, our only love. We have no aim but to remember him. Let's talk about it. We want to be constantly on guard against the thoughts of the ego. We want to be aware that the toys and trinkets of this world, the next shiny object, is meant to distract us from remembering that our only goal is God. What is distracting you today, my friends? Did you wake up this morning thinking about God? Or did you wake up thinking, I have to get this done and that done and that done. I have to get my kids to school. I have to get to work. I have to rush, rush, rush here and there, here and there. That's a terrible way to start the day. Let's remember, this is the thinking of the ego. We may want to be deliberate in planning our morning in a different way. We may want to go to bed a little bit earlier. We may want to set our alarm for a half hour earlier so we can start with the lesson for the day in remembering that our only goal is God, and ask God to help keep us from being distracted from the goals of the ego. We always want to remember that God's memory is always in our minds, but this goal becomes obstructed by the little goals of the ego, which offer nothing and do not actually exist. So whatever is worrying you, whatever is troubling you, whatever is distracting you from God's goals, let us be aware of that today. Let us lay it down. Let's walk away and come back to the truth of who we are as God's beautiful, beloved children. Only that is true. Nothing else is. If you would like to close your eyes, I'll read today's prayer, then we'll discuss it, and we'll read it one more time at the end of today's lesson. Our goal is but to follow in the way that leads to you. We have no goal but this. What could we want but to remember you? What could we seek but our identity? Let's talk about it. Do you want any other goal but to know the truth of who you are as God's beautiful, beloved child? Is there any other goal that you want? Do you want the fame and fortune of this world? Do you want that next bright, shiny object? Do you want to be distracted by your petty resentments, your judgments of yourself, your judgments of others? Let us continually remember that our only goal is to follow in the way that leads to God. Let us let go of the thinking of the ego and come home to the perfect peace, joy, and happiness that is the truth of who we are. This is our identity as God's beautiful, beloved children. For our longer practice periods today, first thing in the morning, last thing before we go to sleep, we want to read or listen to today's idea. Let me remember that my goal is God. And then sit in meditation for a minimum of 5 minutes. More is always better. The longer we take, the more we thirst for this time with God. Let me remember that my goal is God. For our shorter practice periods, on the hour, often in between, and especially if we're upset for any reason at all, we simply state today's idea. Let me remember that my goal is God. And then we sit for a minute or two as we allow this idea to sink deep into our beings. Thanks so much for listening right until the end, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Tell someone about these videos. Encourage them to start at lesson 1 and only do 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat? These butterflies are truly one of God's most amazing miracles. Have a day of remembering that our only goal is God. Our only goal is to accept the truth of who we are as God's beautiful, beloved children. I love you.